glad you're here today. I'm excited, and I have to tell you, I love what I do. I am a certified Ziglar legacy coach and a realtor broker for over 40 years. I'm in the motivation, success, and negotiation business, and I want to tell you a little story about one of the people that I coached through the Choose to Win program. He was a good person, and he was facing stress, negativity, and procrastination. And so, on the initial session, the strategy call with him, I said, "What is it that you want to do with your life?" So, he decided he wanted to improve his family relationships and he wanted a better career and a better life. I began coaching him with small steps. I encouraged him to begin each day with a positive morning routine and begin a gratitude journal and focus on time management. And the first thing he noticed was that his attitude was changing for the better. And this impacted everyone in his life in such a positive way that he said he didn't realize the strong impact that such small steps could make. And that's what I'm here about today. As a Choose to Win motivational and success coach, I'll talk about the changes that we can all make. And it's based on the book Choose to Win, written by Tom Ziglar. And you may know that name. Maybe you've heard of his father, Zig Ziglar. The Ziglar philosophy has been positively impacting lives for 50 years with over 40 books published. So the reason is that people need hope and encouragement back then and now more than ever. And I want to give you some hope and encouragement. I want you to stay with me a little minute because I want to share with you something very important. Zig Ziglar said, "Never give a promise without a plan." And so the promise I'm making you here today is that you're going to learn something that's going to inspire you. And you're going to want to take it to the next level. It's going to give you something to think about and you'll get some actions that you can take and some clarity. You're going to want to know what the plan is and how to get started and how to get going in the right direction. So, what I'm going to share with you is going to be ideal for that. I know that good decisions and life changes take a solid foundation. It also takes the right kind of input on a consistent basis. So, Zig Ziglar's most famous quote is, "You can have everything in life you want if you'll just help enough other people get what they want." The reason why I do what I do is because I love helping people. I love coaching to help people like you and also businesses and organizations to untap and unleash their potential. I believe that we all have untapped potential, and it really applies to all of us. The ability to achieve our goals and dreams, for most of us, it's just recognizing and claiming the untapped potential and then developing it. And the reason I say that it's really simple is because you can choose to win. You can choose to transform your life one single choice at a time, just like my client did. So he made some simple choices and he began every day with gratitude and positivity. And it reduced the stress in his life and it began impacting everyone around him. Zig Ziglar said, "Man was designed for accomplishment, engineered for success, and endowed with the seeds of greatness." And when I say that quote, I'm talking about you. This is who you are. The question is, are you, living your life to the full potential? So, do you believe that you have some room for improvement? I want to share with you just a few tips on how to get there. And then I want to share how you can get started because the Choose to Win coaching program is a fantastic system to help you unleash the potential that's inside of you. But it starts with your why. So, what is your why? I want you to think about that for just a second. What is your why? What gets you motivated? What keeps you going? What is it that gets you up in the morning and gives you the energy to get through your day? Unfortunately, a lot of people never take the time to figure out their why. And that's one of the things I love doing is helping people discover their why. And I want to show you the importance of it in a very simple quote. No system works unless you do. Zig Ziglar came up with something very powerful. He describes a theory of a well balanced life and compares it to a wheel because we all need a well balanced life or a smooth life, like we need a balanced wheel. And we have to, need a balanced wheel to have a smooth ride. And that's a powerful thing when we think about it. I want to share with you what it would take to balance your life. Think about it. What are your dreams and your goals? And where could you use some help? I'm just here to give you one of mine, just so you can think about it. One of the things I strive for is to create lasting relationships by being a considerate and supportive listener and expressing love and respect by being there for those that are most important to me in my life. Another goal for me is that I want good health. How can we enjoy life if we don't have good health? So I have hope and joy for the future, and I want to impact more people. There's probably nothing greater than helping other people be, do, and have more than they thought possible. In the Choose to Win coaching program, what I coach on is Zig Ziglar's seven spokes on the balanced wheel of life. The seven spokes consist of physical, family, mental, financial, spiritual, career, and personal. So we need to make sure that our wheel is round and full to be balanced. And so, what I want to do really quickly here is to do a little assessment on our balance for your wheel. I'll do this quickly so that we're not overthinking it. I'll walk you through each one of the spokes, and this is what I want you to do. When I call out a spoke, I want you to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being your lowest and 10 being your best. And I'll give you a few hints. We'll start with the physical wheel. So are you in good physical shape? Would your doctor give you an A plus? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you getting enough sleep? And do you feel good? So give yourself a rating on the physical spoke between 1 and 10. What about your family spoke? Are you spending quality time with those that are important to you in your life? Do you make time to talk about the important stuff? Do you let those you care about know you love them? Give yourself a score on the family spoke from 1 to 10. So, what about the mental spoke? This is your attitude, your outlook. Do you brighten the room when you come in or when you leave? And are people glad to see you? Are you a positive, contagious person? Do you have a mindset that tells you can overcome this and you can make this happen? Or do you have a negative self talk in the back of your mind that tells you you don't deserve it or you're not good enough? Give yourself a score on the mental spoke from 1 to 10. On the financial spoke of the wheel, we're going to talk about managing your finances. Are you working on becoming debt free? Can you do what you want when you want and with who you want? Do you have a budget? Does every dollar have a name? Are your finances stressing you out? Give yourself a score on the financial spoke from 1 to 10. Now, next to this is the spiritual spoke. This is about your faith, your character, your integrity, love, and loyalty, and all the spiritual qualities that you possess. So, are you happy with the person that you are? Do you have an attitude of gratitude? Do you have a sense of purpose? Do you have peace of mind? Rate yourself on the spiritual spoke from 1 to 10. Next is the career spoke. This is simply your economic engine. This is what you do to earn an income. Is your career satisfying? Do you get excited every day to go to work? Are you happy that you get to do it? Or are you stressed because you have to? Does your career feed your big why in your life? Rate your career on a scale from 1 to 10. And of course, the last one is personal. This is your self care. Do you take time for yourself to fuel up? Do you have special quiet time often enough? Do you do the things that help you grow personally? And are you managing your time to do what needs to be done when it needs to be done? Rate yourself on a personal spoke from 1 to 10. Okay, picture your wheel now in your mind, every one of the spokes where you gave yourself a rating. If it were a 10, the spoke would go out all the way. If it's less, then the spoke will be short. So now connect the dots where the rubber meets the road. For each of your spokes, you might even draw your own wheel. Connect the dots and think about how smooth your ride is. So some people might have a very round wheel where their spokes are all twos and threes. And the problem with that wheel is that it's round and it might be smooth, but it's too small, not going anywhere. You need to have numbers closer to tens on every one of your spokes. So other people might have three or four, eight, nines, and tens, and then three or four, three, fours, and fives. And so their wheel is just kind of wobbling along. So how about you? How did you rate your wheel? How is your wheel rolling? Is it lopsided, bumpy, smooth, flat? Wouldn't it be nice if it was big and balanced? So, what is it that you've got to do to make this happen? Balance success. That's really what Choose to Win is all about. So, you want to be winning in all seven of those areas. Success is having more of the good things in life. And Zig Ziglar said, success is the maximum utilization of the abilities that God gave you. So when I look at the untapped potential that we all have inside of us, the gifts and talents that God has given us, how are you going to utilize and maximize them? How are you going to do this on a daily basis to get most out of the gifts and the talents that you have? So this is when most people give up. They get frustrated and depressed, and then they turn to social media and compare themselves to everybody else in the world. Well, that's not success. And so, one of the joys that I have as a coach is to get to discover your gifts and talents that you have hidden. And then I'll put together a plan of action to start maximizing your gifts and talents and your abilities so that you can raise your numbers from three, fours, and fives to eight, nines, and tens, and then balance your life so you can enjoy the successes of your life. Isn't that what life is all about? So now that we have a definition of success, I want to share with you the fastest way to transform your life and the fastest way to success. So the fastest way to success is to replace bad habits with good habits. Yes, the fastest way to success is to replace bad habits with good habits. So I want to give you an example. Just take a bottle of water and, as comparing it to drinking soft drinks. A lot of people drink soft drinks and we know they're not good for us. They're loaded with sugar. And so the best thing that we can do as an example is to think about how much of an impact a little choice can make on our life. So if we eliminate all soft drinks and replace that bad habit with a bottle of water and keep everything else the same, we could lose up to 17 pounds in a year and consume 44 pounds less sugar. That's huge. And so as you look into your future, your dreams and goals, your aspirations, who do you want to become? And then you'll realize that you've got to grow in all seven areas. You'll start to focus on your choices. Habits get a bad rap because they're usually associated with bad habits. But a habit can also be good. A good habit is simply a good choice made over and over again. And that's what it's about. And so, how can you get balance in your life? We'll look at each of these seven spokes and we'll start creating good habits in each area. So, if you want a lasting relationship, we'll work on that. And if you want good health, we'll focus on nourishing your good health. So, we can't have a great relationship or good health if our mental outlook or our attitude isn't right. So, none of this is going to work, and people won't want to be around us if our spirituality is out of character. We need these character qualities of integrity. It creates trust. We're not going to have these lasting relationships either. And physically, if we're so tired and out of shape, we won't have any capacity to live a full life. So, what it is, we've got to want a balanced life, and we have to have a vision that we want for our life and then see where we are right now. And that's what this Wheel of Life assessment just did for you. Gives you a quick picture of where you are right now. So if you're unhappy with some of the things that are going on in your life right now, and you have dreams and goals and you're stuck, frustrated, or depressed, I'm sure you'll want to know how to get there. So we'll figure out how to close that gap and from where you are right now to where you want to be. So knowing you want to go to the next level and how to get there, good habits are what create the balance for each of the spokes. So what are the good habits that you can create? So I'm going to give you three choices that you can make right now because success is the result of good habits. The number one choice that starts off in the Choose to Win coaching program is that you'll need to choose your input. So when you choose your input, it changes everything. Your input are things like what you listen to, what you read, and who you follow, what type of mindset you have. So, this is a quote in the book: what you feed your mind determines your appetite, meaning, what is it that you really want and who do you want to become? If you feed your mind the good things, your appetite will want more of them. So now I want to compare this to NASCAR. So think of this. If you're driving that race car around the track at 185 miles an hour, that's really fast. So at that speed, you have to keep your eyes on the wheel and the road right in front of you. If you look away, your hands will make a micro movement and you'll crash. Isn't that the way life is? We take our mind off our goals and then we get sidetracked and then we get in a lot of trouble. So, what we feed our minds determines our appetite. What we need to tell our mind and what we need to listen to is positive input and affirmations so that we can have a well balanced life with lasting relationships and good health. And you know what? We'll keep our health in mind every day and we'll have the energy because we'll focus on our health. And when we do these things, it changes everything. Transformation is a choice. Are you ready for transformation? To take it to the next level? Well, it all starts with positive input. The second choice is that you've got to choose your principles and your values. And here's why: every relationship that you could ever imagine depends on character and integrity. And trust is the byproduct of integrity. So, can you have a good relationship without trust? Of course not. And so, what we're doing on a daily basis to become a better person automatically produces the balance that you want in your life. So you'll have every character quality inside of you necessary for success. And yes, you do. You just haven't developed them yet. But you've got to do this and you've got to recognize and claim and develop them and then use them. So I will help you understand that you have these great qualities within you. And the more that you develop them and use them, the bigger the difference it's going to make in your life. But until you recognize and claim them, you can't develop them. So there's actually 7 key choices that I coach on the Choose to Win program. But here's the third choice and the last one that I'll talk about today. So I've kept you long enough. Thank you for staying with me. So here's the third choice. You'll need to be persistent and consistent. So we call this PC, persistent consistency. So consistency means that when you have a worthy goal or an objective, you do it every day and as often as necessary. And persistency means that when you're doing it, you take it up a notch. So if you've ever read any of Zig Ziglar's books, he talks about this. So if you don't feel like doing something and then you do it anyway, then you'll feel like doing it. And so the ultimate story is the block in a mailbox. So Zig Ziglar wanted to lose some weight. He got all checked out and the doctor gave him the okay. So he decided he would jog. The first day he could only jog the block and he had to walk home. The second day he jogged the block and a mailbox. The third day he jogged the block and 2 mailboxes. So we call this the BAM plan. BAM, it's a block and a mailbox. And this is a really powerful key to discovering and unleashing the potential that you have inside of you. You see, all of us can do more than we think we can in a short amount of time. And we underestimate the amazing things we can do over a long period of time by being persistent and consistent. And so I love to coach people over a period of time because when you start to measure, you start to see your growth. You see the change. It makes it all worth it. So I'm going to ask you again, what is your why? What is it that drives you? So I want to give you a little illustration because ultimately, when I work with people, there's a couple of things that have to be identified. So first, I want to compare this to a hot air balloon. Let's consider a hot air balloon to be your mode of transportation. It's going to take you to where you want to go. So let's envision that, okay? It's going to take you to your dreams, your goals, and your aspirations. Now, the problem is that we've got to get the balloon up in the air and in the direction that you want to go. And so, one of the things that you'll notice is that until you know your why, your balloon won't go anywhere. So, you've got to have your why, and that's what we do first. We'll help to understand what your why is. And then, second, there's ropes that have your hot air balloon tied down. So, like those things that are tying down your life, like bad habits, a negative mindset, and a belief that's keeping you from where you want to go. So during the coaching, what I do is teach you how to cut those ropes. And the last thing is that the hot air balloon has a hot flame in there. And the trick is that we've got to turn the furnace up and get the balloon moving. So we'll turn the knob, and the knob has a name. It's called grit. So it takes grit to get where you want to go. So I'll ask the right questions and give you some clarity to help you understand exactly the things that you need to work on to raise your balloon and get you moving and get you where you want to go while you're cutting the ropes. And you've got to do this just right. You can't just have your why, cut the rope, and then work like crazy. I think all of us have already worked like crazy, and then we get stuck in a lot of areas. So that's what I love talking about. So now I want to talk about what I mentioned earlier. When I coach people, I always start with a strategy call. The strategy call is really simple. And I want to understand where it is that you want to go, what your vision is for your life, and what is your dreams. What is it that you would love to accomplish in your life? So it's just like the hot air balloon and the ropes. And I'm going to ask you what's holding you back? What is it that's keeping you from performing at your peak? And what do you wish was different? How does it feel not to be accomplishing the things that you really want to get done? And then we'll talk about the steps that we're going to take and we'll close that gap. And so I'm going to find out how I can help you. And so a strategy call like this is a $250 value. Because you stayed here today and you want to change your life, I'm going to offer 3 people today a complimentary strategy call. This strategy call takes 45 minutes to an hour to talk to you about your goals and dreams. I'm offering this opportunity right now because I want to coach people who are ready to take it to the next step, those that are ready to unleash that potential that's inside of them. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'll post my contact information in the comments below, and the first 3 people to reach out to me. I mean, if I have more than 3, I tell you what, I'd like for those extra people to be patient because I really only have 3 spots in my calendar available this week. So I'll get the first 3 in, and hopefully, if you can be patient, I'll get to you as quickly as I can. And the reason why I'm doing this is because the results that I have seen with my coaching clients are amazing. The transformation is unbelievable. Like the client I mentioned earlier, yeah, I wanted to tell you the rest of the story about that client. One week I was coaching the client through the Choose to Win, and he came in and he was having a really rough week. He mentioned that he had some negativity. One of the coworkers was being very difficult, and he made the work environment very negative. So I coached him with some very simple steps that made a huge impact on the negative individual, and the results were astonishing. So my client was utterly surprised, and so were his coworkers. And of course, my client is no longer procrastinating either because of the simple steps and principles of time management and PC, persistent consistency. So that's why I love working with people who want a better life. And the greatest thing about the Choose to Win program is that you can see from his results, it's creating a well balanced wheel of life where he'll have all of his areas running smoothly, just like you. I want to work with you wherever you are in your life to start implementing those small steps using persistent consistency, creating good habits that will pump up every spoke on your wheel of life. And as you can see, the difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you do. So, are you ready? Are you going to step up and say, I'm ready to rise to the next level? Because ultimately, living a life of purpose on purpose is a choice. Thank you for your time today, and I will try to work in everyone that signs up today. I'll make this happen. Thank you again.